You did not find this message by accident. You were drawn to it by a quiet intelligence inside you that is beginning to turn its face toward the light. There is a stirring under the surface of your routine, a subtle vibration that feels like a question with your name on it. You sense it when familiar conversations suddenly feel hollow. You sense it when time bends and a single hour expands with meaning, while entire weeks slide past like rain on glass. You sense it when the same patterns knock at your door and you no longer open it with the same reflex. This is not restlessness. This is resonance. When your deeper nature starts to wake, your life does not explode with fireworks. It shifts by degrees the way dawn takes a horizon without asking permission. The old identity tries to keep its rhythm, yet the drumbeat falls out of sync and your body hears the new tempo first. You begin to observe rather than react. You speak and notice the echo. You feel an emotion and notice the space around it where choice lives. That space is the doorway. Imagine a lake at dawn. The surface looks still, yet one pebble changes the whole mirror. Your attention is that pebble. Most people toss it without noticing. They throw attention toward fear and call it pragmatism. They throw attention toward lack and call it honesty. You are beginning to throw attention with intention, and the ripples are answering. You notice a sequence of numbers that keeps returning like a breadcrumb trail. A friend you had not heard from in years appears at the exact moment you asked for clarity. A book calls you from a shelf with the persistence of a bell. These are not superstitions. They are the language of a field that responds to coherence. Quantum does not mean complicated. Quantum means intimate. It means the smallest change at the center can reorganize the largest structures at the edges. When your language shifts from I hope to I choose, your center moves. When your posture shifts from braced to available, your center moves. When your breath slows enough to meet the moment rather than chase the next one, your center moves. Your reality is a mirror that favors the face you wear most often. Wear a new face long enough, and the mirror falls in love with it. This awakening does not ask you to reject logic. It asks you to let logic sit beside wonder and to let them speak to each other like old friends who forgot how well they fit. You will feel the pull to seek proof that you are changing. You will want the email to arrive before you trust the new signal you are sending. You will want the account to swell before you believe that abundance is possible for you. Remember the lake. The ripples move outward while the stone is already at rest on the bottom. The effect travels after the cause. Let your cause be decided within you and give the world time to catch up. Do not confuse quiet with empty. The stillness you are meeting is not silence. It is a choir you can only hear when you stop singing over it. Old habits will ask for one more dance. Thank them for their service and keep your shoes on the ground where presence holds you steady. If you are losing interest in drama that once tasted sweet, you are waking up. If you are craving clean relationships where truth and kindness are the same gesture, you are waking up. If you are more interested in the direction of your attention than the opinions of strangers, you are waking up. There is nothing to force. There is much to allow. Think of a seed. It does not argue with spring. It softens, it splits, it yields, and a green fact emerges where a brown shell used to be. Your quantum version is that green fact. You cannot negotiate it into existence. You can only create the conditions in which it recognizes the world as ready. You create those conditions with the stories you stop telling and the breath you start trusting. You create those conditions with the honesty that says the old room is tidy but too small, and the new room is empty but exactly the right size. Stand in the empty room. Let your eyes adjust. When they do, you will see shelves where ideas can live and doors that open in directions you forgot to explore. This is the beginning, not a ceremony with trumpets. A quiet turning of the face toward the sun that was already shining. Keep turning. Everything else will learn the new light by watching you. There is a moment in every awakening where the old story still echoes yet no longer convinces. You can feel it in your body like a coat you forget to put on because the weather has changed. You know what the coat feels like. You know how it used to protect you. But the air on your skin tells you it is safe to step outside without it. This is the threshold between identities. It is subtle at first, and then it becomes unmistakable. You start noticing how your attention lands. What once grabbed you no longer holds power. Arguments that used to pull you in now pass through as if your mind were made of clear glass. You register the words. You register the tone. You do not register a hook. The absence of the hook is not avoidance. It is maturation. Your field is losing the resonance that fed old cycles. You also notice that time feels stretchy. A single conversation can carry a lifetime of meaning. An entire day can vanish while you are absorbed in one simple act done with full presence. This is not inefficiency. This is coherence. When your inner signal becomes consistent, the outer world stops fragmenting your energy. You accomplish more by doing less because your actions are no longer scattering across competing identities. Synchronicities begin to cluster. They do not arrive as spectacles. They arrive as precise confirmations. You think of a question, and the answer appears in a sentence overheard on a bus. You wonder about a next step, and an email arrives that maps the path in detail. You decide to release a habit, and 3 encounters in 1 week mirror the same new standard back to you. This is not chance. It is entrainment. Your inner pattern is educating your environment. Your dreams become instructional. You wake with a phrase that feels carved into the inside of your chest. You write it before coffee because you can tell it came from a deeper registry than ordinary thought. You do not need to translate the symbol. You need to live it. When you carry that phrase through the day, choices rearrange themselves around it. A yes becomes obvious. A no becomes peaceful. The body speaks more clearly now. Tension that used to be background noise stands out like a ringing bell. You can locate exactly where an old belief is lodged. You can breathe there. You can soften there. As breath meets sensation, the belief loosens its claim on your posture. Your shoulders drop, your jaw releases, your spine rises without effort. Identity untangles as anatomy unwinds. Relationships also shift. You find yourself listening for essence rather than performance. You offer fewer explanations because your presence already communicates your position. Some connections deepen because they welcome the clarity. Some fade without drama because they depended on your confusion to survive. This is not rejection. It is accurate alignment. When you stop negotiating with your own truth, you stop negotiating with what does not match it. Money starts to feel different in your hands. It stops representing a verdict. It starts representing a current. You measure it less as a score and more as a flow. You trace where it wants to move to amplify value. You notice how generosity stabilizes your frequency. You notice how resentment collapses it. You choose the current that keeps your heart open because an open heart perceives more options. Creativity accelerates, not as manic output but as clean signal. Ideas arrive complete with an ethic for how they want to be executed. You do not have to bully yourself into discipline. The idea supplies its own gravity. You simply agree to orbit with consistency. Work that used to feel heavy becomes light because it is now a translation of purpose rather than a performance of worth. Resistance does not vanish. It changes shape. Instead of loud doubt, it appears as subtle fog. You learn to walk before the fog has lifted. You take one honest step, and visibility increases. The path reveals itself to the feet that move. You stop waiting to feel ready. You become ready by proceeding with integrity in small increments. This threshold asks for one primary vow: no self-betrayal, not as a slogan, as a practice measurable in your calendar and your speech. You say what you mean kindly and clearly. You keep the promises you make to your own spirit. You build trust with yourself through 1,000 ordinary choices that no audience will ever applaud. That quiet trust becomes your authority. Standing here, you do not need to prove your awakening. You need to resource it. Drink water. Touch sunlight. Sit in stillness long enough for your nervous system to receive the new instructions you keep issuing through thought and word. Let your sleep become an ally. Let your movement become prayer. Treat your attention as the rare currency it is. and spend it on realities you are willing to inhabit. This is how the new version of you stabilizes, not through spectacle, through fidelity. You marry your emerging identity in private, and the world recognizes the ring without you lifting your hand. Think of quantum language as a mirror rather than a microscope. You do not need equations to benefit from its insight. You need a clear way to relate attention to outcome. In daily life, your attention acts like a lens that changes how patterns appear and how choices feel. When you train that lens, your world stops feeling random and starts feeling responsive. Consider the observer effect as a practical metaphor. When you watch your thoughts with curiosity, they settle. When you stare at them with fear, they multiply. Attention changes behavior because what you repeat becomes your nervous system's priority. The body learns your favorites and your fears, and it rehearses them while you sleep and while you work. Now bring in the idea of superposition as a lived posture. Multiple futures exist as options inside your next choice. You have to select the one you are willing to feed with behavior and feeling. Selection happens through language and through action taken before proof arrives. Identity leads and evidence follows. Coherence is the feeling of your whole system agreeing. That agreement creates strength without strain. You move through the day with fewer leaks of energy because you have stopped arguing with yourself. Coherence does not mean intense emotion. It means a steady signal that your environment can recognize. Entanglement becomes tangible in relationships. You feel how another person's nervous system can either tighten your chest or open it. You feel how your steadiness invites steadiness from them. You are not controlling anyone. You are offering a rhythm that others can match if they choose. Decoherence describes what happens when you stop feeding a pattern. Think of an old habit that used to rule your mornings. You did not defeat it by force. You stopped rehearsing it, and the circuits went quiet. Silence is a form of choice. You chose absence, and the habit lost its structure. Here is a simple practice that ties the ideas together. Take an ordinary task and elevate your attention by one notch. Wash a plate as if you were polishing a compass. Walk down a hallway as if your steps were setting a metronome for the day. You are not trying to be perfect. You are building sensitivity. When sensitivity grows, your next intelligent move becomes obvious without analysis. Notice what begins to change when you practice in small windows. You catch a surge of anger before it reaches your mouth. You notice a creative pull before a deadline forces it. You sense when to pause a conversation before it frays. Tiny course corrections accumulate into a new trajectory. Let us translate the big terms into daily markers. Observer effect becomes watchfulness without drama. Superposition becomes many options held lightly until one is chosen with integrity. Coherence becomes honest agreement among thought, feeling, and action. Entanglement becomes generous steadiness with the people you touch. Decoherence becomes the quiet courage to stop feeding what does not serve. You do not need rare conditions for this work. You need rhythm. Choose one anchor for morning and one for evening. In the morning, set one sentence that contains the identity you are rehearsing. Let it be simple and physical. I walk with clarity. I finish what I begin. In the evening, scan the day for one moment where you embodied that sentence and one moment where you drifted. Celebrate the embodiment. Study the drift without blame. Then sleep as a rehearsal for the person you will be tomorrow. You are not trying to win at metaphysics. You are tuning your instrument so that the song you prefer becomes the song you hear most often. Interruption will still visit, but the melody will return faster because your hands know where the strings live. This is how quantum language becomes lived experience. It is not about grand claims. It is about repeatable coherence inside ordinary days. That coherence is the doorway through which your waking version steps and stays. You know a system is rebooting when the lights flicker and the fans change tone, and human awakening has similar diagnostics that show up in daily life. The first is a change in time texture. Minutes can stretch during simple tasks, while entire afternoons vanish in what feels like an instant. You are not losing hours. Your attention is moving in deeper currents and your sense of duration is recalibrating to match the quality of focus you are holding. Treat this as a cue to simplify your cue and choose one high-value action at a time. A second sign is a shift in appetite for stimulation. Noise that you tolerated now feels abrasive. Crowds that once felt exciting begin to drain you. This does not make you antisocial. It means your signal-to-noise ratio is improving and your system prefers clear inputs because it is broadcasting a stronger output. Answer with better boundaries and gentle transitions between environments. A third sign is a rise in meaningful chance. You think of a person and they call. You say yes to a walk and meet the collaborator you needed. You open a book to a line that addresses your private question with precision. Note the moment and act on the invitation that follows, because response closes the circuit and teaches the field that you are available. Dream vividness is another marker. Images arrive with symbolic weight and emotions feel clean rather than sticky. You do not need to decode everything. Give the dream a title, write one sentence about the feeling tone, and ask a single question before sleep the next night so the conversation can continue. Friction in familiar relationships often increases. Patterns that you tolerated begin to chafe. You hear your own part in the loop, and you cannot pretend you do not hear it. This is not a cue to judge anyone. It is a cue to speak from clarity and to move your feet when talk is not enough. Spontaneous focus appears without effort. You sit down to write, and 30 minutes pass in unbroken attention. The world narrows to a single elegant task, and you enjoy the clean effort of completion. Protect windows of deep work and close with a small ritual so your body remembers how to return. Softening toward your past is common. Memories arise without rancor. You feel gratitude for difficult chapters because you can see the muscles they built. This is not amnesia. It is metabolized experience turning into fuel. Use it to forgive one detail you have been holding and to reclaim one skill that grew from it later. Your body will speak with precision. A warm bloom in the chest can accompany intuitively right choices, while a quiet clamp in the gut can flag misalignment. You might wake early with a current of presence in the spine and a clear urge to move or write. Pair these markers with tiny commitments so the language becomes fluent. 2 breaths through the nose before you speak. 1 glass of water before coffee. 5 minutes of pen on paper before screens. Not every sign is pleasant. Sometimes the wake-up expresses as fatigue because the system is refitting itself between old habits and new clarity. Sometimes tears arrive without a tidy reason because pressure is leaving the tissues that used to hold it. Answer with kindness and structure. Shorter to-do lists, simpler meals. A walk after lunch with your eyes on the far horizon will remind the nervous system that space is available. You will likely develop a new intolerance for half-truth in your language. You catch yourself saying later when you mean no. You notice a vague apology where a simple thank you would honor both parties. You start telling the truth in small places and your energy rushes back because leakage has ended. Boundaries begin to carry quiet authority. You decline an invitation without a long explanation. You renegotiate a deadline with respect. You leave a room when the conversation turns corrosive. You make a path. A quieter courage rounds out the list. It steadies your breathing during difficult conversations and keeps your eyes level when old fear tries to contract your posture. It helps you stay when presence is required and leave when truth is ignored. These signs are not trophies to collect. They are a living dashboard that helps you adjust course in real time. If several are present, assume the reboot is underway and cooperate. Reduce input. Increase deliberate recovery. Name what is ending with respect and make one brave request of the future you prefer. Your quantum version is not an escape from your life. It is your life under better leadership. Practical alignment is a set of small, repeatable behaviors that teach your field who you are now. Choose a handful that fit your day and deliver them with grace rather than force. Momentum depends more on consistency than intensity. Begin with a morning reset that happens before you look at any screen. Sit at the edge of your bed with both feet on the floor. Breathe in through the nose for a count of 4. Hold softly for a count of 1. Exhale through the nose for a count of 6. Repeat 5 rounds and notice the exact sensation of arrival in your body. Set an identity cue that you will revisit across the day. Use a sentence that names the version of you that is steering. I am aligned and awake. I am clear and courageous. I am the field in focus. Say it once out loud and once in a whisper so your nervous system hears it at 2 volumes. Run a 5-minute coherence practice. Place one hand over your heart and one hand below your navel. Breath stays nasal and quiet. On each exhale, feel both hands grow warmer as if your attention is fueling them. When thought tries to distract you, smile with your eyes and return to the warmth. This is how you teach your body that focus is safe. Audit your language in real time. Replace autopilot phrases that leak power with language that transmits choice. I have to becomes I choose to. I cannot becomes I am learning how. I am overwhelmed becomes I am prioritizing one thing now. You are not pretending. You are selecting the sentence that matches the future you prefer. Open a value channel early. Ask one question before work begins. What can I create today that will be useful for someone else? Choose the smallest viable action that answers the question. Write a helpful message to one person. Polish one paragraph and send it. Ship one tiny improvement that removes friction for a client or colleague. Protect one focus sprint before noon. Set a timer for 25 minutes and clear every distraction from your environment. Close extra tabs. Silence notifications. Do one important task to completion. Stand up when the timer ends and mark a check beside the task so your brain sees proof. Move your body in a way that invites presence rather than punishment. Walk for 10 minutes outdoors with your eyes on a far point. Keep your mouth closed and breathe through your nose. Let your arms swing freely so the ribcage can move. Small posture choices create large, energetic dividends. Hydrate with intention. Drink a full glass of water upon waking and another during the first hour of work. Add a simple gratitude sentence as you drink so consumption becomes a micro-ritual rather than a reflex. You can say thank you for clarity while you sip. Rehearse one boundary you will likely need to use. Speak it aloud once so the words feel familiar. Thank you for inviting me. That is a no for me right now. I can do Tuesday at 3. Clarity delivered early is kindness for both sides of the exchange. Invite money through service rather than strain. Ask what value can I offer that would make payment a natural response. Make the call, publish the note, offer the consultation. Let the field learn that you pair inspiration with motion. Apply relational refinement in one place. Send one honest sentence that cleans a loop. I appreciate you for the effort you made last week. Name one desire clearly and kindly. I would like more time together on weekends. Place your attention on resonance rather than winning and let the conversation unfold. Use a simple decision rule when choice appears. Choose the option that feels lighter and truer in your chest, even if it asks for more courage. Pair the choice with one immediate step that takes 2 minutes or less. Write the calendar invite. Draft the first sentence. Buy the ticket. Shape your space so it supports the identity you are practicing. Clear 3 objects from your desk. Delete 5 dormant apps from your phone. Put one supportive object in sight, such as a clean notebook or a printed sentence you want to remember. Practice tech hygiene with a single task at a time. Keep only one active window during deep work. Dock your phone across the room rather than beside your hand. Designing friction against distraction is a loving act toward your future self. Close the day with an evening integration that takes 5 minutes. Write 3 wins no matter how small. Write one release where you tell the page what you are done carrying. Write one setup for tomorrow where you choose the very first action of the morning. Breathe 3 slow rounds and thank your body for its effort. Prepare your sleep as if it is a ceremony. Dim lights an hour before bed. Turn screens off 30 minutes before your head touches the pillow. Place attention on your breath and repeat a quiet sentence in the mind. I am safe. Let sleep be the workshop where your next day is assembled. Give your week a cadence so practice becomes identity rather than novelty. Pick 2 protocols to emphasize for 7 days. Keep them visible on a small card and celebrate completion with a check mark. At the end of the week, keep what worked and replace what did not without drama. Do not turn protocols into rigid rules. Use them as rails that keep your train moving in the right direction. Mood follows movement. If you feel flat, start with the smallest visible action and let energy catch up. Your timeline is the sum of tiny habits repeated with care. Make them simple, make them honest, make them yours. Awakening is not an event that happens once and then stays pure by itself. Awakening becomes your baseline through repetition, review, and reverence for simple practices. Treat today as day 1 every day. You are not chasing a high. You are installing a new normal. Begin with a promise that fits inside a single breath. I am a clear transmitter of the reality I choose. Say it in the morning, at midday, and at night, and let the sentence decorate your nervous system with calm precision. Expect resistance to arrive as part of the training. Old patterns will test your commitment by offering familiar comfort. Meet them with curiosity rather than combat. Say, I see you, and I choose the truer path. Then move your body and change your room so your choice becomes visible action. Build a lighthouse habit that anchors your identity when storms appear. Choose one practice that you can complete in 2 minutes no matter where you are. It can be 5 slow nasal breaths with your hand on your chest. It can be reading one line from a sentence you wrote to your future self. It can be standing tall and softening your jaw while you whisper, I am here. Consistency with one tiny act tells your field who is in charge. Calibrate your environment so your future does not have to fight your furniture. Keep your desk clear enough that you can begin work within 30 seconds. Keep supportive cues in sight, such as a short list of your values or a single photo that signals expansion. Remove the objects that pull you toward the version you are leaving. Design the company you keep with intention. Spend more time with people who relax your body and challenge your thinking in kind ways. Limit emotional junk food by limiting conversations that rehearse old complaints. Offer your presence generously and leave when your presence is not respected. Your field learns from every room you enter. Write a weekly letter to the person you are becoming. Tell this person what you did well and what you will improve by 1%. Ask for guidance in 1 sentence and listen for a practical answer within the day. This letter turns your future self into a partner rather than a dream. Rebuild your relationship with discomfort. Discomfort is a signal that structure is changing. Thank it, breathe softer, and take the smallest step that honors the direction you chose. Growth is a kindness you offer your tomorrow. Repair your language when you miss the mark. If you speak a sentence that shrinks you, correct it within the same breath. Say what you meant to say and feel the shift land in your ribs. Small edits, made quickly, reduce the half-life of old identity. Rehearse generosity with money, time, and attention so the field learns that abundance moves through you. Pay a bill with appreciation. Give a clean no to a request that drains you. Give a clean yes to a project that excites you. Alignment grows when your calendar matches your values. Turn rest into a skill rather than an afterthought. Protect a simple wind-down window before sleep and enter it as if you are crossing a threshold. Let reading replace scrolling and soft light replace bright screens. You cannot stabilize a high frequency in a tired body. Name your next leap aloud before you take it. Speak the desire that scares you and then pair it with one immediate motion. Send the message. Share the work. Book the room. Your timeline responds to brave clarity. Serve beyond yourself as a default posture. Offer one act each day that benefits someone who cannot repay you. This trains your field to create surplus rather than scarcity. What you make room for in the lives of others expands in your own. Turn setbacks into clean data. When a plan fails, write down 1 lesson and 1 refinement. No blame, no drama. Only information and the next honest move. The field respects a builder who keeps building. Let beauty be part of the method. Tidy a corner, light a candle, arrange your tools with care. Order in your surroundings invites order in your mind. Your nervous system loves to feel held by your environment. Close this chapter with a declaration and a choice. Say, I choose coherence over confusion, creation over delay, and love over fear. Then choose one behavior that proves it in the next 5 minutes. Creation becomes real when your feet move. You did not come this far to touch the threshold and walk away. You came to step through and decorate your life from the inside out. You came to remember that your sentence is a seed and that your breath is the water. Walk forward with a steady gaze and a soft heart. Return to the protocols. Return to the promises. Return to yourself. Your quantum version is not waiting in the future. Your quantum version is the one speaking these words inside your chest right now. Answer back with your next action and let the world rearrange.